HOA demanded I tear down my fence. I proved their crown jewel park was actually built on my land. They say good fences make good neighbors. But in the manicured hellscape of modern suburbia, a fence is apparently a declaration of war, especially when you have the specialized tools to end that war with nuclear precision. My name is Mark, and I have been a licensed land surveyor for 15 years. I don't just look at maps. I define them. I deal in absolute coordinates, not opinions. My wife and I had just closed on what we thought was our forever home. It was a stunning corner lot in a neighborhood established in the late 90s, complete with mature oaks, winding streets, and the kind of curb appeal you see in movies. We had spent 6 months fighting bidding wars, and this was our victory lap. The moving truck hadn't even finished unloading the sectional sofa. I was standing in the driveway, sweating through my t-shirt, holding a box of kitchen appliances, when I heard the distinct, high-pitched whine of an electric motor. A golf cart, painted a pristine, aggressive white, screeched up the driveway and stopped inches from my shin. Out stepped Barb. Barb was the HOA president, a woman who wore authority like a cheap perfume, overpowering and impossible to ignore. She didn't have a welcome basket. She didn't have a casserole. She had a clipboard and a scowl that could curdle milk. She didn't say, "Welcome to the neighborhood." She adjusted her visor and said, "You know that fence has to come down by Tuesday, right?" I blinked, wiping sweat from my eyes. "Excuse me." "The back fence," Barb said, pointing a manicured finger at our beautiful, 6-foot cedar privacy fence covered in lush ivy. The previous owners put it up illegally 3 years ago without board approval. It encroaches 12 feet into the HOA common area greenbelt. I've been waiting for those deadbeats to move out so I could finally enforce the code. You have 48 hours to remove the structure, fill the post holes, and resod the land with St. Augustine grass. If you don't, I will hire a demolition crew to do it on Wednesday morning, and I will bill you triple the contractor's rate plus an administrative inconvenience fee. I tried to be diplomatic. I really did. "Ma'am, we literally just moved in minutes ago." The title company said the land was clear. The survey provided at closing showed the fence was fine. "Can we please discuss this at the next meeting after we unpack?" Barb smiled, and it was the coldest thing I'd ever seen. A smile devoid of warmth, fueled entirely by the joy of bureaucratic dominance. "The bylaws are the bylaws," she chirped. "Ignorance of the rules is not an exemption. Tuesday, noon, or the bulldozers come." She slapped a bright orange notice of violation on my front door, right over the welcome mat, and drove off. I stood there stunned. My wife was in tears. The joy of the new house evaporated instantly. I panicked for about 20 minutes, spiraling into thoughts of lawsuits and liens. But then I stopped. I remembered what was sitting in the back of my truck, buried under a pile of moving blankets. Barb didn't know she was picking a fight with a guy who owns a $40,000 Leica total station GPS unit and does forensic boundary disputes for the State Highway Administration. I didn't hire a contractor. I didn't call a lawyer. I called my office. I told them I needed the good gear. I went down to the county courthouse the next morning and pulled the original subdivision plat maps from 1998, the developer's original grading plans, and the master easement schematics. I spent the entire weekend in my backyard. While my neighbors were grilling burgers, I was driving steel reference stakes. I set up my tripod. I used laser rangefinders. I connected to the state's reference network. I measured. I remeasured. I checked the curvature of the cul-de-sac. And then, I found it. The golden error. It was a massive discrepancy. The original developer had made a grading mistake 20 years ago when laying out the common area park behind our homes. They had shifted the entire plat map south by nearly 25 feet to avoid a rock formation, but they never updated the legal deed descriptions. Barb showed up on Tuesday at noon sharp. She brought a demolition crew, 3 guys in a truck who looked bored and ready to smash something. She also brought 2 other board members to witness my humiliation. She was practically vibrating with excitement. "Well," she smirked, tapping her foot. "Are you taking it down, or are they?" "I have the invoice ready." I walked out slowly, holding a large, rolled-up document. "Actually, Barb, I'm not taking the fence down. In fact, I'm thinking of extending it." She laughed, a harsh, barking sound. "Is that a joke? Tear it down, boys." She waved at the crew. "Stop," I yelled, my voice booming. I unrolled the map on the hood of her golf cart. It bore my official, embossed surveyor's seal. Barb, this is a forensic boundary survey. According to the county deed, the legal description of my lot, and the GPS coordinates tied to the state datum, my property line is not where the fence is. She rolled her eyes. Obviously, it's 12 feet back. No, I said, a dangerous smile creeping onto my face. It's 25 feet forward. I pointed past the fence, into the manicured common area park. You see that paved walking path the community uses for their morning jogs? That is now my private driveway. You see that beautiful white gazebo where the HOA holds its wine mixers? That is now my private patio. And the community sprinkler control box? That's trespassing on my utility easement. Barb turned pale. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. This is impossible. We've mowed that grass for 20 years. Adverse possession doesn't apply to HOA common elements against a title holder in this state. I cited, reciting the statute I had looked up. Technically, the HOA has been trespassing on my land for a decade. I could sue for back rent. I could sue for property damage. But right now, I'm just concerned about liability. I turned to the demolition crew. Fellas, since you're already here, how much to rip out that gazebo and move a paved path? It's sitting in my backyard, and I don't want strangers walking on my property. Barb shrieked. She actually shrieked. She frantically called the HOA lawyer on speakerphone, right there in the driveway. She screamed that I was stealing their park. The lawyer, a tired-sounding man, asked to see the survey. I texted a picture of it to him. There was a long silence on the phone. Barb, the lawyer said, his voice dropping an octave. Get in the cart. Leave. Do not touch his fence. If that survey is accurate, he owns the park. If we touch his property, he will own the association. The fallout was swift and brutal. We came to an agreement to avoid a massive lawsuit. The HOA could keep the path open, but they had to lease the land from me. The cost? Exactly the amount of my monthly HOA dues, plus a 5% annual escalator clause. I haven't paid a dime in HOA fees in 5 years. Every month, I get a check from them. The gazebo had to be moved because it was too close to my bedroom window. I made them pay to relocate it 3 inches to the left, just to prove a point. And every time Barb drives by in her golf cart, she has to stare strictly at the road because she knows the asphalt she's driving on belongs to me. She tried to use a ruler to measure my grass, but she forgot that I use satellites to measure the earth. Barb tried to bully a professional surveyor about boundaries, and she ended up losing the ground beneath her feet. If you loved seeing this power-tripping HOA get measured and found wanting, smash that like button. And tell me in the comments, have you ever checked your real property lines? You might own more than you think. Let me know below. Subscribe for more stories of malicious compliance and epic wins.